What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name's Grady and I listen to country music and whatever else I want to, and today is another edition of Single Smackdown, and I'm excited about it. So Single Smackdown, if you're new here, is a little series I have on this channel where I take 3 new singles from country artists and I pit them against each other. I judge them in 3 different ways. One, on lyrics and delivery. You can get up to 10 points for that. Another factor is the sound and production of the song. You can get 10 points for that. And then the third category is X Factor, which is just kind of the conversation and context around a song that may or may not make it interesting, and that's worth 5 points. So the best possible score you can get in Single Smackdown is 25 points. And we got 3 heavy hitters going at it today. We got Lady Antebellum's new single, What If I Never Get Over You? We got Keith Urban's new single, We Were. And we got Jon Pardi's kind of big sophomore album, first single from it called Heartache Medication. So I'm excited to check those out today, and let's get into it. But first, a shout out to our sponsor, Ridge Wallet. Ridge is changing the wallet game, replacing kind of the old big fat leather wallet with something sleek and metal that can sit in your front pocket. It's RFID blocking. It has this nice little money clip on the back, and your cards kind of fan out in the middle. This is a great Father's Day gift. If you're looking for something for the sleeker dad in your life, check out a Ridge wallet. There's a link in the description down below. You can also use promo code Grady for 10% off your first order. But go show Ridge some love. They've been showing the channel some love. They're our first sponsor, and so they're always going to be near and dear to my heart. So let's first check out We Were by Keith Urban. I'm intrigued by this song, and I've actually heard it once before, but it was a kind of cursory listen. It's written by Eric Church, Ryan Tyndall, and Jeff Hyde. So the fact that it's got an Eric Church connection makes it exciting to me. It's kind of confusing that he has a song called We Were, considering he has a big hit called We Were Us. That's his song with Miranda Lambert, but as people that watch this channel know, not a huge Keith Urban fan. I think Graffiti You is just an abominably bad album. I don't know how he won Entertainer of the Year on that album, but I always go into music with an open mind, and let's check out We Were by Keith Urban.
We were, at least there's a little bit of sweet run out of time. I am who I am. We were, leather jackets hanging. We were.
Alright, that was We Were by Keith Urban. That's basically a song in which he is reflecting on a past relationship, and even though that relationship didn't last, the memory of it has really stuck with him, and there's a part of him that still believes it should have lasted. It's kind of the one that got away song. And overall, I would say I like it, don't love it. I kind of get why maybe this isn't also ran in the Eric Church catalog. I think the lyrics of this song are pretty good. There's some imagery all throughout the song, whether it's, her fake ID or their love fading like the stamp on the back of her hand. I think that's a pretty good line. I enjoy the shout out to Pour Some Sugar on Me. You just get a few specifics that it's like, okay, this feels like a real relationship. It definitely feels like a raucous, kind of party-fueled relationship, and I think that comes through really clearly in the lyrics, describing themselves as leather jackets on a Harley, 2 heartbeats in the moonlight. It's more of that kind of Pinterest board that I like to describe as kind of Shane McAnally's writing style, of just sort of lots of little images. Keith Urban loves that stuff. There's a way he hears lyrics like that, and he clearly really connects to that style of writing. I think the main conceit of the song, that I am who I am, I just miss who I was when we were. I think that's a really, really interesting line. It's like, it kind of reminds me of the Brothers Osborne, I Don't Remember Me Before You. So I think the lyrics of this song are pretty great. I think that the delivery, that's really what I have a problem with on this song. I don't like how Keith Urban delivers it at all. There's something kind of very choppy and actually hard to understand about how he's singing it at first. Everything's a little too syrupy and a little too sung. And the phrasing is very odd to me. Like that first time that they say that line, I am who I am, I just miss who I was when we were. To me, it doesn't work in really selling that concept. Like, I feel like I need a pause. I am who I am, but it goes right into, I just miss who I was when we were. And I don't know that I've wrapped my mind around the first part of that phrase when the second part comes. So maybe that's just the melody and how it's written, but I don't know. There's something about the tone of how it all flows out that doesn't work to me. So that's not to say it's bad. I just think it's ugly. So lyrics and delivery, overall, I'm going to give that like a 6.5 out of 10. Music and production of this song is pretty boring, I would say. You just get a lot of little like kind of drums in the beginning and kind of ambient guitar plucks and a little bit of banjo plucks. All the stringed instruments are just kind of like little tickles of strings that are kind of laid into the mix, but it's really mostly percussive and ambiance and letting the lyrical melody carry this. So it makes it, I think, a very boring listen. I just don't think it's that interesting sounding of a song. And like I said, I don't think the sound of the melody is that pretty, but I do think it's like a pretty big return to form after Graffiti You. It's a step in the right direction for Keith Urban. This song doesn't stick with me so much, but it doesn't sound bad. I'm just going to give music and production on this a 5 out of 10. I think it's a little overproduced, if I'm being real. X Factor points with this song. I would say the things that make this interesting are that it is a major step back towards some reflectiveness and interesting writing after the sort of pop album that was Graffiti You. And I think the fact that Eric Church is a co-writer on this, and you can definitely hear his style in the lyrics of it, also make it interesting. But otherwise, it's just sort of there's nothing too crazy about it. And so I'll just give this 2 out of 5 X Factor points. Which total gives We Were by Keith Urban 13.5 points out of 25. But like I always wonder if the first video on this series gets gypped, because that feels very low, but it's still a winning score. All right, next up we are checking out Lady Antebellum's What If I Never Get Over You, which is the lead single from their upcoming album. It's going to be their first one on Big Machine, and I'm excited to give it a listen. I've actually given it a listen once, just like the Keith Urban song.
But the memory fades. What if I'm trying? What if I never get over you? See right through, 'cause then I'm right out. If I never get back on the way, say forever and never and never. I'm trying.
Sounds so good. That was What If I Never Get Over You by Lady Antebellum, and that song sounds so good. That feels just like, Keith Urban's song felt like a return to form, but that really feels like a return to form. Lady Antebellum lately has been doing this kind of like funky lead-off single that, like, I think about songs like Downtown, and I think about You Look Good, and they've kind of been leaning into this sort of sassy kind of thing, and I don't think it's what they're best at, and I don't think it's necessarily using this male and female lead gimmick that is unique to them to its best advantage, where these songs about kind of like heartache are in some ways it's what made them really famous. You think about Need You Now, and this is another song that is about longing. I mean, it's our second song in a row that's kind of the one that got away type song. This is what if I never am able to move on from this one relationship. And man, it just I like it. I like it. You know, I listened to it just a little bit last week when it came out, and now I've heard the full thing, giving it my attention, speakers on. It sounds real freaking good. So lyrics and delivery of this song, it's exactly flipped from how I felt about the Keith Urban song, which had interesting lyrics and I hated the delivery. This, I am in love with the delivery. I think their vocals sound so good and they sound so rich and their harmonies are on point, and there's so much good crescendoing, and but I do think the words kind of feel like they kind of just feel like they were written by like an 11-year-old, and they weren't written by an 11-year-old. They were written by Sam Ellis, John Green, Ryan Hurd, Laura Beltz, but it's just kind of there's almost no imagery in the song. When I'm looking at these lyrics, I just see I close my eyes. That's an image, but it's a lot of questions. It's what if I'm lost in the last goodbye? What if time doesn't do what it's supposed to do? What if I never get over you? It's supposed to hurt, a broken heart. Yeah, there's not a lot of meat here. There's not, sometimes I like to say the more specific you are, the more universal it is. But hey, Lady Antebellum is going for broad here. And I think on the whole, they deliver these kind of, the words are longing, they're accomplishing what they're supposed to do, but it feels pretty just not interesting. There's not like a thing you can print on a t-shirt on this song. So that makes me a little sad. But I think the delivery is excellent, and so overall I would give lyrics slash delivery like a 6.5. Music and production on this song is great. I feel like that's exactly what I want a pop country song to sound like. I feel like the dynamics are excellent. It gets really loud and pulled back and really loud. I think they kind of like play a lot with the volume in this song and with how much it crescendos. It happens 2 or 3 different times, and I think they all work, and you're playing on that bridge just builds and builds and builds when they're asking all the questions. What if I never get over? What if I never get closure? What if I never get back the wasted words? And when they say forever and ever and ever, when they add that in like a Presbyterian, they bring in all the music again, and you hear the so I just think that really works. I think the drums sound really great in this song. I think the guitar is kind of a wailing electric guitar, kind of the standard pop country guitar sound right now. I think they did a really good job with the sound of this song, and it's quite melodic. It's so fun to hear. That was pleasing to my ears. I felt like I was back in the American Honey era of Lady Antebellum, and it's nice to be back there, to be honest. So I'm giving music and production on this song like a 7.5 out of 10. And then the X Factor points on this song, I'm going to give it, a pretty good score, I think, because the group's kind of done their own thing for a few years. I think babies have been had, solo projects have been pursued. Hillary put out a Christian record. I know Charles Kelly put out a solo record featuring a great song called The Driver. And they've been doing kind of their own thing, and now they're back, and it feels like, whoa, with some renewed clarity about what made them special in the beginning, because this doesn't just feel like a desperate attempt at all to kind of go back to what they did best, but it just feels like a true, oh, maybe we have found our sound again, and that's really exciting to hear. I think this song is going to be a monster. I mean, as simple as the lyrics are, I don't like simple lyrics, but maybe they'll be the best thing for a big old radio hit. It's not like Need You Now has that complicated of lyrics, but I think this sounds really good. It makes it really promising for what this record's going to be, so I'll give this like a 3.5 out of 5 X Factor points. What the heck, let's give it 4. All told, that gives What If I Never Get Over You by Lady Antebellum 18 out of 25 points. And finally, we got Jon Pardi's Heartache Medication. Now, Jon Pardi's so interesting. He's actually been around for a while. I said at the beginning of the video, this is like his sophomore thing. It's not technically his sophomore album, but it just feels like it because California Sunrise was really the star-making turn of Jon Pardi, and it's been this like dark horse monster album for the last 2 or 3 years. He's been riding that album for a long time, and it produced a lot of hits. My favorite of which is Heartache on the Dance Floor, and so I'm wondering if Heartache Medication is like a sequel to that. Jon Pardi is popular for bringing kind of the Bakersfield country sound back into popular country music, and he's doing it in this way that feels cool. He's buddies with everyone. He's not this like outsider, like I'm against what country music is. He's done it in this very friendly way, but just the guy likes his boots and he likes his fiddles, and I like that he likes them and that we're having this little resurgence. Very excited to hear this and to see, like, are you leaning in to that kind of traditional sound, or are you going to go more the Nashville route? Be intrigued to find out what this song sounds like, because I love all 3 songwriters involved here. We've got Natalie Hemby, Barry Dean, and Jon Pardi. That's exciting to me. So let's give it a listen. Yes. Immediate? Yes.
Same old way, serve me up right. My heartache medication, I'm drinking enough to take you off. And here I go again. I got my heartache medication. Find me some trouble. Dedication to getting over you.
All right, that was Heartache Medication by Jon Pardi. What a fun song. I freaking love that he's putting this out as a single, truly. I feel like it's quite a statement, but not like a strong statement, kind of like I said before. It feels friendly and gentle and very Jon Pardi. This song, I was so struck immediately by the fact that it starts with a fiddle. But we'll get into that. I think overall, this is just a song about a guy drinking at a bar. tale as old as time in country music. He is sad, and so he's going to a bar to drink. Not reinventing the wheel here. It's not going to win any awards for being the most creative concept. All 3 songs in this video are about kind of the same thing. But man, what a good song. I'm sitting here moving and grooving. The lyrics of that song are pretty simple. We get a lot of images of jukeboxes and neon and beers and tears and nothing too crazy creative about that, but it sounds nice. And I think the idea of heartache medication, that's a good little phrase. I like that phrase. It's memorable, and I think there's there's just, you can tell little pieces of quality songwriting in this. Same old dive, same old end of the work week drink. There's a lot happening alliteratively, where it's same old, and we're getting work week drink. Just kind of things that are fun to say, and I think it's phrased really well. That said, I don't think there's anything, subject matter wise that's too interesting in here. Overall, I would just describe the lyrics as solid, and I would describe the delivery of them as great. I think that there's something about his voice. It kind of has a reedy timbre to it, and I think that always sounds really interesting when it's recorded. I kind of like the tin can quality of it, and I think he delivers it really well. My favorite lyrics in this song are actually in the bridge. I love this little couplet. Single drinking doubles, teardrops turning into bubbles. That's so good. He's single, and he's drinking more than one, and his teardrops are turning into beer or some kind of fizz. I just think that it's a pretty standard kind of Lone Star, honky-tonk type of song. But that's fine. I think he delivers it well. And so I'm going to give lyrics and delivery a 7 out of 10. Music and production, this is where the song really shines. And this is really the statement that I think it's making. The subject matter, like I said, kind of dime a dozen. But to start this song off with a big old fiddle solo and then bring the steel guitar in, and then to end the song with a guitar solo, steel guitar solo, and fiddle solo, you just don't hear that on the radio at all. I think it's a pretty bold move. This is not a snap track song at all. And I think that's super interesting, and it sounds great. If you had all that stuff and it sounded horrible, that wouldn't be fun. But this is a song that kind of, I think the musicality of it captures the jolliness of kind of what it's going for. Fiddles have that really weird quality where they feel kind of lonesome and they feel kind of festive. And I think that is perfectly captured on this song. It's the right instrument to carry the melody here. And I think it really augments the meaning of the song and turns this sort of sad moment into a happy moment, just like a guy getting broken up with going to a bar is trying to do. So I think it all really works, and it's so exciting that it's all there. The whole part where we're leaving the bridge and we go through the chorus and we're kind of adding one instrument in at a time and we all come back together as a band, and then go into solos, it's so satisfying. You're really going somewhere musically. And so I'm going to give the music and production of this song a 9 out of 10. And then X Factor points on this song. I think it's real cool that he leaned in. He took the kind of narrative of his California Sunrise album and the fact that Head Over Boots kind of clicked with him and Heartache on the Dance Floor did, and he actually, instead of kind of being like throwing a bone to the industry and going a little bit poppier, and he's not, like I said, he's not going against things. He just did a song with Thomas Rhett that's fairly poppy. But it's pretty cool that he went real traditional country, real Bakersfield sound for this. This is kind of like his make or break single, and I love that he leaned in. I think it's going to pay dividends for his career. It's going to be so much cred. I've been talking a lot in videos about this kind of trend of what's happening with like Riley Green and Luke Combs and him, and there's just country is suddenly cool again. It hasn't been cool for a long time to really sound country the way I think of it when I think of like 90s country and Alan Jackson, and man, that's just giving me those vibes completely. So I think this song's interesting, and I would give it like a 3.5 out of 5 in terms of X Factor points. So overall, that gives Heartache Medication a 19.5 total score. And that makes our overall rankings in this video. In third place, We Were by Keith Urban. In second place, What If I Never Get Over You by Lady Antebellum. And at number 1, Heartache Medication by Jon Pardi. It's interesting because I actually think that the biggest hit of these is definitely going to be What If I Never Get Over You. And I think it might be the one that is like most enduring in my head. But in terms of when I really break it down and think about what makes me like a song, it's really cool words, it's really great instrumental flourishes, and I feel like I would have more fun listening to Heartache Medication live than I would the Lady Antebellum song, but the Lady Antebellum song might be like a better hit for radio or something like that. And the Keith Urban song's fine. It's not my favorite. But I think for all three of these artists, it's a step in the right direction, to be honest. And so I got nothing to complain about in this Single Smackdown. I'm excited about all three of these songs. Let me know your guys' thoughts on these songs down in the comments. Be sure to hit like on this video. It helps my channel spread, and I'm trying to, look good considering I'm going to Nashville in a week, and I got some meetings and want to be all impressive. So thanks for sharing and hitting the bell, whatever the things are that you guys do. I will see you guys soon, and look forward to talking more about country music with you then.